Are we live? Hello. Okay, I'm hoping that we are. If our audience on the Hopin platform can, send us a message and say if they can hear me. Okay, I think we are. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks. Okay, I have my notes here. My name is Arifeh Taqikhani, and I'm very thrilled to be here tonight with you all. This is our very first in-person event after the COVID pandemic. It's been 2 years and 4 months, I want to say. Yeah, the past 2 years, they were extremely challenging for most of us, but it also gave us the rare opportunity to bring together the global community as well. And we at Women of MENA in Technology took that opportunity, and we arranged quite a few virtual events to bring the global community together, to connect, to network, and to learn from each other. So today we are trying also to have this event as a hybrid event. So I want to say hi to our audience on the virtual platform as well. Um, um, before before we start the event, I just want to give you a couple of updates. I don't know if you don't mind showing the next slide. Yeah. So we have the annual virtual career fair next week on Thursday. Last year in this virtual event, we had Tesla, we had Netflix, we had Amazon, to name a few. So it's a very good opportunity if you're looking for a change, for a new opportunity. You want to be on that event. Go on our Hopin platform and join the event. You can find the information on our website as well. Ida, if you can go back to or next slide, please. Yeah. I don't want to make it a long monologue. Just before I go, I'm here to learn, and I cannot learn without your feedback. We cannot learn without your feedbacks and comments. So if you think you have ideas, you have comments or feedbacks about how we can make these events more useful for our community, or you have ideas of different sorts of events, come and talk to me. Come and talk to the London team. You have all the details here. You can email us as well. But please do so, because we really want to learn from you. I want to ask Ida and Mahtab to join me on the stage. Where's Mahtab? Is she? Okay, so she's downstairs. If you can get her, please. Thank you. I just want you to say hi to the...
Of course, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to see you all here in person. It's been like a very long time to see real people around us. I'm very excited for today's event. Thanks to Beamery for hosting us. Thanks to my teammates to putting this event together, and the Beamery. I was not very involved in organizing this one. I was super busy, so thanks, all the cheers to them. Enjoy the event tonight. I hope you learn. We learn from each other. Thank you. Welcome.
Well, we're going to wait for Mahtab, but before we go, I want to thank Gelare as well. Gelare is another team member of ours. She couldn't be with us today. Her little one was not feeling well. It wouldn't have happened tonight if it wasn't because of Gelare. She was in charge of our host engagement, and this is what she did. So thank you, Gelara June. You're missed here. Without further ado, I'm going to ask the Beam team to come and join us. I think we want to go to the next slide as well.
Thank you very much, and thank you again to Gelara, who came and joined Beamery a while ago. I remember meeting her in our interview and her telling us about the community. I got so excited we'd get to meet you all one day, so welcome. And my name is Michael Patterson. I am the CTO and one of the founders here at Beamery. Next slide. If you go to the next slide again, I think you'll see my face, as if by magic. Yeah, look, I'm the CTO. I'm one of the founders here at Beamery, and just absolutely overwhelmed with pleasure to welcome you here. It's great to have people in person and to give anyone online a view into the Beamery office, although a very small corner of it. Now, I am super excited to have you here. Also, the format of the event tonight and the topic, a huge one for Beamery, which you'll understand in a little while, because we set out on a vision at Beamery, or a mission, to eradicate the passport lottery and ultimately to give fair and equitable access to work, or build software that enables fair and equitable access to work for anyone, regardless of your background. And we sort of live up to our mission in a few different ways. The major one is working with the biggest companies in the world, helping them attract, engage, retain, and engage and retain the right talent. Now, that's all about helping them build the workforce of the future, a workforce that is bias-free, a workforce that is diverse, a workforce that trades in skills as a currency rather than CVs. And a bit closer to home, we love to get involved in the tech community, love to get involved in the discussion. It's good for us. We get to listen and learn, we already talked about, and ultimately grow as a business. Now, one other thing very quickly that I'm proud about, that you're going to hear a little bit more from Elise on, which is our fully funded bootcamp, which we've been doing for the last couple of years, and that is about trying to break the bias in tech from the ground up, something that we continue to do, and we'll be doing another one with the help of Verity this year. Now, a very little bit about me. I'm a founder. I'm a terrible sufferer of the imposter syndrome, and these opportunities allow me to learn and listen. Now, tonight I might not be around for the whole thing because I've injured my back, and at the moment I'm in quite a lot of pain, so I might not be around for the whole thing, but I really wanted to be here today just to welcome you guys and hear a little bit about Beamery. We have a ton of open roles. We're hiring pretty aggressively from across EPD, from bootcamp engineer all the way to product directors, so please come and talk to some of the volunteers if you want to learn a little bit more about us, and we'll be here. So please sit back, relax, enjoy a drink, some food, and tonight's entertainment. Am I handing over to Lisa? I think so.
Thank you, Mike. Hi. That way. Okay. Hello. I'm Elisa. Hi, I'm the Associate Data Scientist here at Beamery. I've been here since the end of February. So far, I've had the chance to work on some NLP projects. So named entity recognition, what we're doing is extracting skills from textual data. So, things like job descriptions. This is really going to help us see the full potential of each candidate and really judge them based on their learning agility rather than their experience or education alone. So how did I get to be a data scientist? Well, my path here has been quite untraditional. My first degree straight out of school was actually in fashion in a small university called Rainsbourne. You probably haven't heard of it. It's in North Greenwich. It exists. So I hated it. In my third year, I became really interested in maths and physics. I read a lot of books, watched documentaries, went to some lectures. And then after a year of traveling and a stint in sales, I decided to go back to education. I did an undergraduate degree in maths and physics at the Open University. After that, I got into Cambridge to do part 3, which is a master's course in theoretical physics. But while I was there, I realized I really wanted to apply my maths background to do something that's more immediately useful and impactful. So for me, machine learning was like an obvious choice. I loved it straight away. So how did I get from theoretical physics to here? Next slide, please. It was the Beamery Bootcamp. Woo! I found out about it from Grace, who messaged me on LinkedIn, and the rest is history. Yep, through her, I found out about Beamery. I did the bootcamp. It was from this autumn to about February, so it was about 16 weeks. We learned a huge amount. Honestly, the curriculum is amazing. You have so much support. You're given a mentor from day one. Big shout out to Giuseppe for dealing with my cutters obsessions throughout the months and helping me out with them. Yeah, and I really also enjoyed the group working element of it. So the last month and a half, it's basically just group work. I think that's honestly the best way to learn, because like the people you're working with can ask questions that you've never even thought of yourself. So like the learning is amazing. And obviously it's the perfect entry into tech for someone without a traditional computer science background like myself and actually everyone else on the bootcamp. Next slide, please. So if I got you interested in the bootcamp, we are in the process of formulating the next one. It will be sometime in the autumn. You can, if you Google like Beamery Bootcamp, you can find it'll be like one of the first pages. You can go online, have a read about it. There is a form you can fill in to register your interest, and you'll be the first to hear when the application is open and get more information about it. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me after this. That is that. And back to Verity.
Hello, so I'm the moderator here tonight, and I'm going to get the other panelists up and seated. Hello, hello, does that work? Amazing. So, hello. You seem so far away from me. So I'm Verity, and I'm the talent attraction manager here at Beamery, and I sit in the employer branding team. And I shouldn't have to explain to everyone here tonight why diversity is important. In my role currently, a big part of what I do is to come up with creative and unique ways and drive initiatives to break the bias in tech by hiring more diverse people, essentially. So tonight's topic is really close to my heart, and I'm extremely delighted and grateful that I was asked to be a moderator. So I will hand it over to Parisa to introduce herself.
Hi. Cool. So my name is Parisa. I used to be a lead product manager in Babylon House, and before that, I was running a property portal in Middle East. So I've been in tech for the past 6 years, and always the diverse one. And for me, I think like basically we know the definition of diversity is being composed of different elements, but diversity in workplace, I know we are women in technology, women of MENA in technology, but doesn't only resonate for women. It's just having different background, different ethnic background, and also different sexual orientation, different educational background, and different skills as well. So it resonates beyond women in tech, and we are hoping to give you some of the experience that we had in our jobs previously, and maybe even learn from you. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Parisa.
Woo!
Good evening, everyone, and hello to everybody virtual as well. We won't forget about those guys. My name's Sally Nowroozi. First of all, I just want to say thank you for having us at Beamery. I love RFS said that we're here to learn, and if I wasn't doing this event, I wouldn't know about Beamery, and I'm so happy I've found Beamery and come here today, and my office is actually 10 minutes away, so that's just really lovely. So thank you for having us as well. My surname's Iranian, so big up the Persians in the room. I'm a customer experience evangelist at Salesforce. I've been at Salesforce for 7 years. What does an evangelist mean? It's effectively a thought leadership role. My role is to help customers become customer centric by showing them what technology can do and create their North Star customer experience. I'm also a corporate ambassador at Women of MENA. So I feel double proud to be here today to represent not only tech, but also Women of MENA. I used to be a part of the Salesforce Women's Network, but I felt like it was an internal conversation and allyship, which is wonderful. But for me, learning and coming out of an internal company, which is very big, is way more meaningful for me to be in a room with people like you as well. So I will also share my perspective on that. And when I'm not geeking about tech, I'm cooking. So I'm also a food blogger. So if you like Middle Eastern recipes, gluten-free, dairy-free, I've got loads for you. I'll pass on to.
Right. Thank you, Sally. Hi, I'm Anjali Sharma. A lot of you know me. For those who don't, I'm a tech lead here at Beamery. First of all, thanks, Women of MENA, for organizing this. This means a lot to see so many women in tech at a single place. It just gives you moral boost, if nothing else. So I have been in tech for almost 9 years now. And one of the reasons why this kind of event is very important to me is that with every passing year, I've seen decline of diversity, which is very sad, but that's the reality. So I hope we're here learning from each other, learning from your experiences, and probably from some of mine, and actually trying to make it a better place, if nothing else, just influencing some people to stay in tech. Thank you.
So I'll kick off tonight with our first question. What challenges have you mainly seen in finding and keeping diverse tech talent? And do you have a personal story that kind of came to mind with the theme of tonight's evening? And I'll send that one to you, Sally.
Well, something to add to that. First of all, the fact that we have guys here, that's progress and that's amazing. So when we talk about that, I think that's a big part of the answer. I mentioned that I was a part of a women's network, but for me, the challenge was there's only women coming to those events, and it's the allyship and the community is great, but we need more guys too. So it doesn't become just a women conversation. But to answer your question formally, for me, it comes down to recruitment strategies. So I see a lot of managers trying to recruit diverse talent for their teams, and what they're given is a handful of CVs, and they can only find a role based on the CVs they have on their desk. So they want to be more diverse in their recruitment, but they can't be because of what's presented on their desks. So I think it's an acquisition strategy in terms of recruitment. And what I love about what Women of MENA are doing, they do careers fairs, and it's creating a community of talent who are in search for a role or just looking for a community. So the pool of talent for companies to access is curated and it's there. So it's a win-win scenario. So I think for me, it's about how you diversify your acquisition strategies towards finding talent and not waiting for a CV to kind of come in your inbox.
Couldn't agree more. That's why partnering with Women of MENA is so important for us this evening as well. And Anjali, let me send that one over to you as well.
Okay. So yeah, the two parts to this question: finding and retaining talent. Finding talent is, of course, as we've seen, that there is a dearth of women or even diversity in the industry. So one of the good things that I really find Beamery is doing is the boot camps, where you actually try to solve that problem at the root level, when you try to find a diverse group of people and try to get them interested into tech. So we are just bringing more people in and then trying them to setting them in the growth path. And when it comes to retention, what I feel personally, the problem that I've seen is that there are very rare role models in the industry for us to look up to. One of the stories is my own, that couple of years back, I wanted to just quit. I was not feeling the motivation to be in tech. But that's when somebody just pushed me towards trying out new technologies, trying out different domains and fields. And that's when I stayed here and understood that there are more things to do. There are more women. I frankly have been given a lot of motivational links to see women that I can look up to. So yes, there is a lack, but if we quit right now, it's just not gonna make anything better. So I think having a mentor, which is what we here do at Beamery, we have a mentorship program. So having a mentor just helps you give that comfortable space where you can talk to about your second doubts. So I think that will be good for me.
Great, thank you all for sharing. According to McKinsey, women in the workplace, their Women in the Workplace report 2020, there is a huge gap between the number of women in their early careers and women in senior leadership roles. Why do you think this gap exists, and how can we solve it? So, Sally, maybe?
I love what Anjali said about roles and representation. You can't be what you can't see. And I think if you're an individual contributor, I don't know if senior leadership recognize how important it is to have people that are role models, because that's how you retain talent. You want to look up to someone, you want to kind of progress in that role. I think, to be completely honest, it's because it's really tough to be a modern woman and work. I don't have a family, but I can't even imagine having a child and doing what I do and getting my child to school on time and all that stuff. So I think it comes down to really understand how to navigate life when you want to work in your career, ambitious, and yet you have to be a mom and make those decisions. On International Women's Day, we had afternoon tea speed networking at Salesforce, and we were so lucky to have like 8 of our execs with us having teas and scones and all that lovely stuff, gluten-free. And they literally just sat with us and they rotated. We didn't rotate, so I love that. They rotated and they were like, ask us anything you want. And we had some real conversations. One of our execs actually turned around and said she had to make the decision with her husband to go, okay, how are we going to do this? Am I going to continue working, or are we going to outsource childcare? And I kid you not, I was so drained after that. I got home, I was probably in tears going, oh my God, life is so difficult. But that's the reality. I think we have to make hard decisions, and that's where role models and just having that to be able to have that honesty with someone in an organization, I think is super powerful. So I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know if many people have, but I think just being honest and having a community to lean on is really important to navigate life.
Yeah, nice. Parisa?
Yeah, I think my approach is a little bit more analytical or problem solving. If you look at employment circle of employment together, you have the attracting of the talent, and then you have onboarding of the talent, and later on you have development and basically nurturing that talent, and then you have recognition, and then you have promotion and progress, and then basically might have an exit of the talent or later on to a different role. But what I see, like looking at it, like having a data based reality check in a company, looking at each stage of it and looking at it, how many people go to the next stage of this career circle that we are having, and raising it. I think is one of the best thing that can happen within the company in trying to understanding where you are. And we did that in our in Babylon as well, and quite it's amazing when you talk about diversity, even though when you have the culture, even when you attract the talent, it's a big question of retention, and the retention doesn't happen if you're not careful of taking all your talent to all these cycles. So the problem arises when women don't get the promotion, or anyone with a diverse background don't get a promotion, or they don't go through the same development, same support in the company. And I think that's the part that we need to think about as well, because more and more we are finding diverse talent, but keeping it is the big thing now. Yeah.
I think that leads us nicely to our next question, because I guess in some ways, if you don't show the data or show like this is happening in a mass way, people can sometimes, especially in bigger companies, can think, oh, it's just happening in that one team, or it's just happening there. But you've got to see it in like a global kind of, it's happening across the business at this stage. Cool. So the next question is, how do you think you can get the entire company, including our leadership team, on board with D&I initiatives?
So do you want to take this, or shall
You
I
want
go?
to go? Yeah,
Yeah.
if you've got something, go for it.
I think depends on initiatives that you'd run. So one of the things that I recommend to everyone is basically not sitting back. So one thing that I've experienced is putting a committee together to look at those data that we talked about, and also raising it in our stand-ups and talking about it. And the more we talked about, the more ideas we had to what to do. So I think as any individual, I would always say, like, even if you're not in a diverse group, don't take the seat back. Just think about it, how to get involved in those initiatives, and how to raise it. So, and how to take your leadership in those initiatives as well. So their involvement is pivotal to the success of those initiatives.
Thanks, Parisa. I think it's top down, bottoms up. You know, it's no one's perfect at it, and there's a journey to get there as well. I believe in transparency, so Salesforce is super transparent about the gender race, the diversity race, shall I say. If you go on salesforce.com/equality, we have publicly put our statistics on there of where we are with our progress of hiring. So 50% of the global workforce is an underrepresented group. So it's not just a women conversation. It's LGBTQ, it's anyone from different ethnic backgrounds, you name it. We've actually got equality groups for everybody as well. So being really transparent with it from a corporate standpoint, and using business as a platform for change, I think is important. So that's a corporate standpoint. The second element is like incentivizing your managers. So your managers actually have that as a KPI to make sure that they, like on my manager's literal development plan for the year, he's got how many people he needs to hire and the strategy is going to take to recruit people. So giving managers KPIs, I think, is really important as well. And just really leaning in and being curious, and not just ticking a box for the sake of having a diverse person as well. So yeah, I think giving those KPIs, I think, is really important as well.
I think if you give the KPIs and you also put it on the website, then you're also holding leadership accountable to be like, well, it's all public and this is what we want. We're saying externally, this is what we want to achieve. So if they're not doing anything internally, they kind of have to be like, oh.
Yeah, if you make a global mission and a corporate mission, then your employees advocate for it as well. Yeah. I remember waking up 2018 and had an email, and my boss wanted to speak to me, and I was like, oh, what have I done? And they're like, have I got a pay rise? I was like, huh? I haven't done anything. And Salesforce did a gender gap analysis on pay. And globally, they spent 3 million course correcting everyone's salaries. I think it's when you lead like that, it's just incredible. So I don't know if I get paid less or more than the man, but I have confidence I probably get paid equally. And for me, that's really fulfilling to know that. So I think it's like how you really show up as an organization and do like the little things as well as the big kind of corporate things as well.
That's amazing. I love that. It's good to see big companies doing that. So everyone is on a journey to improve their behavior. Do you have an example of where you've seen someone kind of take on meaningful feedback, listen and improve from it? maybe Anjali?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, and I really have seen people, and the key to it is that we have people who are ready to improve when they know that they're doing something wrong. So when there are people who are unconsciously being biased towards you or somebody else in the team, it's always good to speak up. So it has happened that we have given feedbacks about a simple thing like talking over each other on a meeting and interrupting people and just saying your thing. It could just be that person's behavior. It could not be an unconscious bias, but that's something that needs to be improved to make everyone feel inclusive. And we have given feedback about that, and people have actually improved, and they have been more receptive to feedback, and they have been more polite towards each other, and actually taking other person's opinion before speaking theirs. So yeah, things like that have made productivity and also happiness in the team a bit better.
Yeah, so speak up, everyone. Did Sally or Parisa have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, sure. I think it's good to recognize your bad behaviors as well. So at the beginning of one of my jobs, I was told by a colleague that basically, Parisa, you're looking at the educational background too carefully, and because well, I've just thought like maybe if it's a good university, you probably are a stronger candidate, and it was beginning of me hiring people. So and I got that feedback and I looked at it and I thought, okay, yeah, that's correct. It's like you won't have a very diverse background if everyone is from Imperial and Oxford and Cambridge, and you don't realize it that because you're like always talking about diversity, you don't even think that you might yourself have a bias. So that was my experience, and I try to now like try to look at the CVs headless and don't look at the education too much, and try to have like a little bit more of a skill-based a skill-based interview rather than like what you've done, but mostly like, okay, now that I give you a problem, how can you solve it? And in product and tech, thankfully you can do that. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And anyone else, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm a realist. I know not every company's got 3 million to just, give everybody equal pay. I think there's pockets of excellence that we need to share, and really simple, quick wins. So when we're backfilling for a manager, our leader invited us all to revisit the CV of the job we're going to post because the job had evolved from when he initially wrote it. We all leaned in and looked at the job description. Charlotte in my team, who's based in Ireland, she's German. She's got different amazing perspectives. She looked at the CV and she said, "This job says we need this manager to rally up an army of doers." I understand what army of doers means. It means just people that are just going to get on with their work. But she really pointed out like why using that phrase isn't great. Army of doers quite masculine, so maybe a woman looking for that job wouldn't want it, etc. So just by looking at the language used and using your team to lean in and write that for you, I think it's a win-win scenario because it gets your team invested into the manager you're going to recruit, part of the conversation. But they're little things that mine doesn't. There's no figure on it. Anyone can look at a job description and change the description. So yeah, for me, it's just those little nuggets of amazingness that you see. I think it's cool to spread.
Definitely agree. And anyone, all good sharing? And whilst we are all on this journey to strive for better diversity, when have you seen it gone wrong or not kind of work?
So, sorry, guys. One thing that has always made me furious is giant organizations doing this women only drives, and that's not a nice way to get diversity in. You're getting people and not have them compete with the people that they're going to be working with. It's just something that is heavily under recognizing someone and also not fair to them. So that's one thing that I feel is a wrong way of approaching this problem. And there could be other scenarios where you could also have your pipeline diverse and then let the best candidate win. You don't have to give somebody a job just because they're from a diverse background, but you just have to give them an opportunity to compete for the same job. So yeah, that's one thing that I've felt that has been done wrong by even the big giants. And I once went to one of these drives, especially to see what goes on there. And it's just a room full of women, and then the waiting, and it was terrible. I didn't like the experience. I would never want to go back. Yeah.
I can add something. Did you want to add something? No, you go on it. That's funny. I really hope we get to a point where, like, 5 years, it's just, how to find the best talent, and it's not about women. I really hope we get to just that point. So it's like the right candidate for the right job. I think if people are so heavily incentivized around this, it's going to lead to wrong behaviors of the tick box checked. So if it's a KPI, I hired a woman. It's like, okay, was she really good for the job? So I worry about that when that's in place. I want it to get to a point where it's just like the best candidate actually wins as well. But I think what ends up happening is people just want to recruit people for the sake of ticking that box, and that's not necessarily the right thing either.
I'm gonna play devil advocate here and just ask you, like, if we don't have that, how would we correct the behavior? Like, I think, like, sometimes till we get to, like, every single company or most of the companies are hiring based on merit. Till we get to there, what do we have to do then? If we don't have that KPI, maybe we just somehow will go back to not hiring, or what would happen then? Like, what's the solution then?
Yeah, I think KPIs are great because it gives everyone the goal to get there, but sometimes it creates that behavior of ticking a box if that person doesn't understand the mindset of why they need to look at talent in that way. I think what happens, and I lead into a lot of networks, is when someone feels so centered that they're a diverse person, they're a woman, it actually creates imposter syndrome, and we can't ignore that. So I worked on an automotive brand, and I was in the meeting, and I knew I was in that meeting because I know what I'm talking about. But it creates imposter syndrome. Am I just here because I'm ticking a box? Am I just here because I am a woman? And a lot of people find that imposter syndrome globally, from what I've experienced, of them feeling like they're here because they're just here. They're not here because they're actually bloody good. So sometimes we have to acknowledge that behavior is driven of that as well.
Here at Beamery, we try and run these events so that we can invite our engineering managers or our founder or other people along to kind of be here to listen and learn, because if they're not in the room understanding it, so rather than it being like, oh, we want to hire loads of people from diverse backgrounds, so let's do like a diversity lineup of interviews. Instead, it's like, let's get Kunal in the room, let's get him listening, understanding how.
Hey, Kunal.
Yeah, this is what our engineering managers.
Kunal.
Mike's here at the back. He's one of our founders, and they're here. They're listening, and they're trying to learn, trying to improve, trying to network and do better. And so that's how we're trying to do it here, by listening to your communities and welcoming you in and learning from you all. Thank you so much for being so open, so vulnerable. I was super nervous about this. It's the first time I've ever sat anywhere with a microphone.
She was amazing.
So I really appreciate being asked, and I'm going to hand it back over to you. Yeah, thank you.